What happened? There we go. What's up? What's up? I'm Yogi Chris, founder of Ninth One Yoga, captain of IMC Nation, talking about multi-dimensional, dude. Multi-dimensional masculinity, multi-dimensional dating. It is as metaphysical as it sounds. It is as mystical as it sounds. It is as psychological as it sounds, and it's definitely practical than it sounds. So keep that in mind with what we're doing. You can skip ahead as I check all the tech and see where it actually starts. Okay. All right. And we're good here. Good here. Check, 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 check. Okay. What's up? I was just going for a little while. And this is very interesting. I like talking out my realizations. You know, I train with Arash Dibazar, AZD, Arash Sapar Dibazar. I live with him. Lived with him for like 4 years. Studied with him for about 9 years. And I run these accounts, the TikToks, Instagrams, YouTubes, whatever. And we post the clips there that, you know, grow these accounts. And so if you're following these accounts, it's probably because, I need to pin this. What's up, Ty? What's up, Charles? Okay. Ty, man, about to make big moves, bro. All the way across the world, different countries, studying. Man, I remember being young like you, and, you know, I did shit like that. And just a little bit. I went to Italy, did all kinds of things. So here we are, multidimensional. So this is very interesting, okay? You make decisions in your life that alter your life. Like Ty's going to, you know, South America or whatever. You know, CJ decided, I'm going to get a job. You know, he didn't need a job. Had a bunch of money saved, didn't need a job. Decides I'm going to get a job. That decision will change the course of your life. Even if nothing supposedly comes of it, just the process of make a resume or go knock on somebody's door. Honestly, even just as simple as considering if you should do it or not, that will change your next action. Because if you take a pause to consider, should I apply for this job or not, that's one moment that you weren't doing something else that you would be doing. To pause and ponder a life question, or any question really, but let's say a life question, a decision, and that's time you're not doing something else. If you weren't pondering that question, you'd probably be doing that other thing. And then butterfly effect, as it, you know, it snowballs. Like, what's the next action that comes after that action? And you start going on different timelines, different trajectories in life. Just little decisions, all the way. That's why the AZD process is so vital. If you're studying AZD tech, if you're in daily classes, especially if you've ever considered doing advanced classes, you need the beast process. Because, man, that's where you'll get a grip on, I don't want to say all, but that's the path. Getting a grip on all of these little decisions we make, all the way down to starts with what time did you wake up? You know, you just started grilling guys on it in the previous classes. Because it's so fun. It's a decision that you make that you follow through with. That starts to create a strong chain. Whereas if you make the decision, I'll wake up at this time, and then you don't, you broke the chain. Do it again. You got a bunch of broken, a chain full of broken links. How strong is that? You got to go through, and that's just one decision. Very easy to understand decision. Okay, my wake up time. There's other decisions in the beast process. What are you eating? Counting your macros. Cold shower. The reps and the exercises. The stoicism. These ingredients are the process for the morning that gets your mind sharp. Like I was teaching my girl this morning. Get your mind, the process, you get your mind, you sharpen it up. Like if I was going to cut down a tree, I'd sharpen an axe. Okay, I got to sharpen my mind and my body. That's the beast. The beast is the body. I got to connect the mind and the body. It's not enough that I'm just reading books in the morning. It's a long ass book. Let me tell you how many pages this book is. It's a novel, by the way. 1,077 pages. And let me show you how small the print is. 1,077 pages of that shit. Man, it's so good. You know how fast I read it? At the rate of 1 page a day. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Bro, there's a page torn out here, but it goes number to the correct number. So, I wonder how that happened. Probably because it's so big. When they cut it, I mean, how can you cut that much paper? Okay. So, the beast process gets you aware of the inner decisions you're making. And that's AZD's game, is inner game. So, it's these decisions like, you know, a lot of married couples, let's say, they can trace back to the decision, usually, the guy made to approach the girl. And he may have been pondering that decision for months, looking at the same girl that worked at the coffee shop. He may have been just in the moment. As soon as he saw her, he made a decision. He probably has examples of times where he made a decision and then made a counter decision. Nah, it's not. I got to do this other thing. Or, if you get more and more clear, you'll start to see other statements that you're saying, like, she's too pretty. You actually said that to yourself, and that's actually what repelled you. You repelled yourself from. Now, that's not to say it's always going to work. 99 out of 100, 999,000 out of a million. It doesn't work with the girl. But all the successes started with, at some point they had to meet. It boils down to there was a decision, the light switch, to take this vehicle called my body and do that instead of doing this. The body didn't do it on its own. Nobody's coming around hitting your reflex or shocking you and you jolt. Okay. I could argue as a yogi, and I'm not lecturing on yoga right now, that actually that's also a decision. It's just so instinctual that we don't really got to go into that. I get it. There's also an instinct to feel nervous about the pretty woman. But that's only because you're at a certain level. At a different level, it would be different. But put any man in exactly your situation, with exactly your upbringing, exactly your mindset, exactly the situation that you're encountering. Somehow they know that they're still them at the deepest level, but they have a completely different mind, like I lectured on yesterday. Completely different beliefs. They would be just as nervous or just as whatever feelings you're going through as you. Because it's just the same physics, you and me. But we come across the work of other men, older men, wiser men, past men. We're standing, like AZD says, on the shoulders of giants. We stand on the shoulders of giants. That's what Stoicism is. Those are some old white guys in Greece that taught, and, we read about it. And we can build on that. So, when you see a better way of doing things, or you learn some way of doing so, that's what technology is. A way to talk to somebody, a phone. A way to write down my ideas. Writing is a technology, just like typing is a technology. This one uses more machinery, sophisticated, arguably, but writing is the technology of writing. The technology of making a piece of paper to write on instead of a leaf, or the sand, or a rock. It's technology. The technology of how to do something. How did you make the leaf? How did you make the pen? How did you formulate the words? How do you pick up and seduce a woman? How do you have a relationship? It's a thing. So, by the way, it's not a thing on the outside. It's a thing on the inside. The relationship is you can observe these things, these objects relating, a man, a woman, or whatever. But where is the relationship? It's like, I see them relating, but where is the location of the relation? It's not. It doesn't exist. But internally to those beings, to me, I have a relationship. It's a thing to me. It has mass. It has size. It has importance. It's a thing internal. It's a subjective noun, let's say, instead of an objective noun. So, these process, become aware, internally sharpen up. That's you wake up and you get sharp. And then when you get sharp, you got to go through all the muck. Like how you clean your room, it's a mess. This whole lecture is just analogies. You know how you clean your room, it's a mess, it's a pain. It's a pain in the ass. You don't want to do it. It's fucking effort. Okay. That's the same thing as the morning routine. I don't want to do it. Fuck, more push-ups. Fuck, a cold shower. Fuck, I don't want to wake up. Fuck, I don't want to eat this nasty food that's supposedly healthy for me or whatever. But at the end of it, you're sharper because it's methodical. It was created by a wiser older man who learned it from wiser older men, who learned it from wiser older men. It's a whole lineage, many lineages, including innovation. So you learn what the teacher has, master it, and you add to it. A lot of students don't master what the teacher is teaching. Take any teacher that's been teaching for 10, 20 years, any subject. He's had so many students. How many of them really mastered what he was teaching? Very few. But if you reach that level, then you're definitely qualified, because it takes a lot. People don't understand. It takes a lot. Like, a lot of you guys are young. Troy is not that young, but you know, I'm still learning. Every day I learn. Like, success, man, it's more effort than it looked. That's why it's so valuable. It's actually, you can't fool it. Like, you can trick people into thinking you're successful, wear some fake jewelry, or you can, temporarily be successful, make a bunch of money, like in crypto or something, but not know what to do with it afterwards, and then you lose all the money. You were temporarily successful, but were you a success? That's why the guy who's been making a living teaching for 10, 20 years, that's actually huge. I'm not talking about school teacher where the government employs you, you pass some tests, you're barely not even qualified, and then they hire you and whatever. I mean, like, as an entrepreneur, sell yourself. Like a private tutor. That would be a teacher. Someone that found the clients, made them trust them enough. I can teach you and teach you better than that. You should actually pay me when you don't have to pay for that, because it's that important. And they sell you on it. That's like what dating is for guys. Learn some dating. I know dating. I got free dating on YouTube. I got free dating from my upbringing. That's the guy going to public school. Bro, do you want to learn something? Do you want to actually know how to do this thing? Or do you just want a government stamp of approval that you absolutely don't know how to do anything? Take it from a man with a PhD, a master's, and a bachelor's degree. All you're getting is a government stamp of approval that you don't know how to do jack shit. That you dedicated, like an imbecile, so many hours to getting a degree that, let's gamble. If we're going to gamble, I'll bet you don't get a job based on your degree. I'll bet you, if you get a job, you get some job that's not related to your degree. I'll bet. Look up the statistics. You think you're going to be different? Everybody thinks they're going to be different. Look up the statistics. That's what statistics can tell us. Maybe you are different, but let's just look at the evidence. How many things in your life have you been so different at? Okay? I was a horrible runner. I became team captain of a state championship team. The team sucked. I was the captain that led them to greatness, even though I also sucked. I was the wrestler that sucked beyond sucked. Became very good, I would say borderline great. But definitely made a name for myself and famous in certain circles. And I made my team great. Again, team captain. I go to university. I become the pin leader of my team. I had the most pins, even though I had half the matches. So that means I was more than twice as good at pinning as everybody else on my University of Oklahoma Division I wrestling team. I had a lot of drawbacks and character flaws through all of this, but I achieved things, obviously, through the help of older men and teachers. My dad got me a wrestling mentor, for example. Then I become stellar at guitar, but I can barely even talk about that because there's no proof. I was closed off to the world, using drugs, but amazing. Take my word for it, whatever. Maybe a recording will pop up somewhere to showcase a little bit. And it's not that I was the best in the world. I was learning, again, from guys. I would buy their music, and I would just drill into it. Then I go to PhDs, overlapping, but I get into PhD. I'm voted best in the world as a graduate student, so not comparing to professors, but as all the graduates, masters and PhDs, and it wasn't a huge discipline, not 10 billion trillion, it's like psychology, which is retarded, but it's a much bigger, like there's more people competing. Mine was like 500. So I was the best out, maybe more, up between 500 and 1,000 worldwide that did my subject, exact subject. I was the best. Okay, and then of course how many people didn't even make the cut? They tried to get in, whatever. There's a lot of untold people that fall off, but of the people competing, I was the best. Then yoga. Again, overlapping, but I'm good. Okay, now I create my own niche, a thing, where I travel to you, I teach at your yoga studio, workshops that are so advanced that all of your teachers should take it. Every single one of your teachers should take it, including you, studio owner. But I have a language so that the beginner will get it, but obviously it's not for beginners. It's a workshop. So that even the new guy or girl or the intermediate guy or girl, they'll love it. They'll get something actually different out of it than the advanced people, because your level will determine how good. And I did that. And I did that full time for 3 years, traveling the US on the road after my PhD. And I did it through elbow grease. Right? And I led other people. So I had apprentices and whatever. And so How can I say I'm the best in the world? I did something that nobody's ever done with yoga business on earth. Including, it was in the spirit of the ancient yogis that would travel and beg to give prayers and teachings. It's not like I was making so much money, but I was full-time living, and that's all I made my money on. Then I started overlapping with IMC business. AZD asked me to do IMC business. So I'm working all these, then COVID shut everything down. I go into IMC business. I do for IMC what nobody's done before. Now we have a new guy on who's creating a whole marketing ads campaign, and he's really good at it and has a lot of success in other businesses. He may take it another order of magnitude above where I was. Okay, there's also wrestlers that came after me out of my school that were better. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't looked. There's runners. You know what I'm saying? Everything I've done, there's probably, since my PhD, I bet somebody's come along, used my ideas, and did better. I'm not the all-time greatest of forever and ever of those things. I'm just saying as an example, if you're going to be the outlier right now, you're going to be that guy that gets into the government because you're going to change the government. How many has met a friend or heard or thought, I'm going to be the guy that gets elected so that I can change everything? Okay, do you have a history of changing everything around you? Or is that going to be your first? Because if that's your first, it might be another pipe dream. Now, so what do you do, Chris? Then how am I going to start this? I want to be the best at something. Well, you need a drive. Okay? You need a teacher. And you need a tech that works. Gotta close out a telegram. Boom. Am I just blowing your mind? Because that's as ancient as the Yoga Sutras, which is the ancient yoga teachings, which is what it is essentially. What I just said was ancient yoga teachings translated into English. You need the drive, like this passion. I don't like using that word, but this motivation, again, I think drive is better, but it's like that. It's this movement internally you have to do the thing, take the actions to get to the success, to walk the path. You have this drive that you would not kill for, not suicide yourself for, but that you would be willing to die in pursuit of. Not kill yourself, but you're going to die one day. What if you never achieve it? Is it still worth going in that direction? That level of drive, maybe you don't have that yet, so be inspired. That's what school should have really done. Grades 1 through 12 should have been researching what you're inspired about. By the time you're 18, you've found your path. You still may change, but at least the river may change also. You're on the river instead of looking for the river. So start now. Inspiration. Learn to measure inspiration. Again, the beast process. You get to feel inside. Part of how AZD teaches us to use stoicism to change your character is through inspiration. And he teaches on it. How to use inspiration in the reading and the exercise and the whole process, really. So you start to reshape your character. Now this stream is called multidimensional dating, multidimensional basically. Okay, it's a quantum universe. So it's just a little decision. Where is your mind? Your mind, remember I said the relationship doesn't exist? Where's your mind? The mind exists, but like point it out to me. Oh, it's internal. I can see it. I see my memories. I see what I'm about to say. I see my fantasies. I see whatever. I even see my own body. My body exists in my mind. Have you ever been numb to something? You don't perceive your body anymore. Most people are not grounded. They don't really have a strong sense of their body in their mind, which is all it is. But it's all mind, right? But it's ethereal. Where is it? Grab it. Pull it. So it's in the quantum realm. Some sorcerers and magicians would say it's electrons. There's an electron field that organizes your mind. You know, they said, I read, I don't know the exact example, but the arrangement of molecules can store information. So like the computer, most people don't know this, and I don't know that I'll be able to convey it, so I'll try to do it fast and real simple. Like, it's built on zeros and ones. There's a language that creates the software, Zoom, or whatever, the video. And that's a complex language of computer programming that tells a computer what to do. But how does the computer know what that language is? How does it understand when you type copy, paste, and it copies and pastes or something? How does it understand that COPY means copy? Okay? If you break it down, there's a machine code under that. And that machine code, it's a technical word, machine code, somehow translates all of those symbols through zeros and ones so that literally circuits turn on, off, on, off, on, off. And it's a bunch of on-offs. It's very complex. It's brilliant. And then on, up, back, through, you type a command, it does these things. And based on that, that translates into zeros and ones, on, off, on, off. Those zeros and ones are translated by a computer code because it's so many zeros and ones. It's like billions and trillions of zeros and ones. Translates it into this screen. It makes the video project. So we see blues and reds and yellows. And how does the screen know to do the yellow here, but if I move over here, it's a yellow. And if I move over here, it's a yellow over here. Bro. Why am I saying all that? Oh, quantum. Okay? So the electrons around a molecule are just free electrons. How they orient and their charge and everything, which is like the just you have poles on electricity and you flip it, and that's like zeros and ones. That, the ancient Atlanteans, they're said to have stored information in crystals and in water. Because the arrangement of electrons in molecules, you store information just like a computer. You ever see the old Superman, the movie? He stores memories in crystals, and that's projects on the screen and everything. And we know this. That's why there's all the crystal bitches, the crystal, spiritual girls that have, it means everything, and this cleanses and that cleanses, and I gotta recharge it in the sunlight. The sunlight hits it, the photons, and rearranges the electrons again. Kind of starts to make sense. So the mind is in the electron field, which is perceived by others as your aura, your energy field. You send attention over there, you start reshaping the orientation of electrons everywhere. I'm not saying this is fact. I'm saying this is how the sorcerers might explain it, something like this. And what I'm saying is, we know the mind is a thing because you use it, and your body, you feel it. And in the quantum realm of electrons, a decision, let's say the decision to eat the cupcake or this other thing, something healthy. A decision, where does that happen? Ones and zeros. It's very subtle. Every decision boils down to the most subtle, it's a yes or no. Somewhere it's a 0-1 to do that or not. We get cloudy in our day. We make so many decisions that are obscured and overlapping that we don't see clearly each little decision. We're in chaos. We're talking in our minds a lot and listening to and just like distracted, because to talk in your mind means you're paying attention to sounds and symbols that don't exist. The more you look at the movie in your mind, the less you look at reality. That's where like Zen and meditation comes in. Like, stop the mind so you see what's really happening. But we are far deep into what's called conditioning. Schools have conditioned us. Life and media has conditioned us so that we see what they want us to see. Our minds are constantly chattering on a certain language and vocabulary that keeps us paying attention to the code. We can't see outside of the code that we've been given. That's where IMC Nation and AZD come in. That's a totally different language to understand male-female dynamics. Because how do you control a population of billions of people? You make them work really hard, distracted, and forget that the man's here to protect his woman, the woman's here to raise the kids of the man, and he's competing with all other men for his woman and the most beautiful women, so he's motivated to get better and better and better and take all the women for himself if he can. Probably in order to take all the women, he's going to need to align with a bunch of other strong men, because he can't protect 1,000 women by himself unless he has the cooperation of 100 men. And maybe he gives 2 to him, 2 to him, 2 to him, 2 to him. Because he knows, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how an empire is built. By merit, if it's done by merit versus through all kinds of evil ways, killings and things like that. And ultimately you need to defend, so you'll need to be able to fight and whatever. But people rise to power through merit or through deceit and backstabbing and whatever. And then they don't, that's a different kind of survival. That's when we talk about the mating game is survival and replication. You do survive on a 3D materialistic level if you raise in the ranks by backstabbing everybody. But I guarantee that you, because of the physics of life, Your physics are the same as mine. I would feel just like you do right now if I had lived your life and had your mind. Even if I was still me. Because we are not our mind. We are under the mind. That's how we know we have a mind. So I would still be me, but if I had your mind, I'd feel it. So I know that the pharaoh or the king or whoever that through backstabbing made his way to the top, he's not living well with himself. It's the same physics. You can't feel well about yourself if you backstab people to get to where you are. You're always going to be looking over your shoulder for someone to backstab you. That's not a good life. Internally, he's not surviving very well because he's worried. Worry is not high survival. So part of it is handle your problems in the 3D realm. If you're worried about money, you get a job. You know, something like that. But you've made a habit of worrying. So you get the job and you keep worrying. You make money, you keep worrying. You save money, you keep worrying. You've invested money, you're still worrying. Not surviving well. You got to change how you feel about money. Become detached. How do you do that? That's what the teachings are here. You got to hear it and see it in so many different ways. Even me just saying this and you realizing it is like activating. You got to hear it multiple times, multiple times. Why am I still here as a student 9 years later? I got to see it multiple times. Then I'm living with a guy now, but I was learning and still learning from a guy that's, you know what the forefront it means? It means you're at the front of the line and the wave, you're surfing it and the wave is under you, behind you. You stay, he's still going. You learn from him and he keeps going. Okay, that tech works, but here's the thing. The culture is a big wave. The culture is still going. You haven't learned how to surf it yet. So you have some advanced tech because AZD is ahead of the culture. You stop learning here, the culture keeps going and passes you by. You will, by example, over 100 examples I have of guys, you will become just like them again. You'll become just like them again. You might have some interesting information, but everybody's got some interesting information. You're not exemplifying it like AZD and IMC is because you've left the connection. And it's like, well, how long am I going to need a teacher for? Bro, here's the quote that kept me going. You ready? Are you tranced? Are you tranced out? CJ's like, yeah, I'm in a trance. Okay, so now I know you're ready. That's called acknowledgement, any kind of acknowledgement. So the statement is, as long as I'm ahead of you, keep following. Right? Ahead of me, meaning what? Ahead of me on what? The path. What path? The path to where I want to go. If I change my path because I don't want to go that path anymore, okay, you're no longer ahead of me because I changed path and on this path you're not ahead of me. But just be aware, again, lots of examples of lots of guys, well, I decided, or, this other things, but they're lying. I know they're lying. It's not that something else got more important. I know what this movement is. Remember, great wrestler, found the best guitarists, found the best PhD, found great yoga teachers when it came to travel, did it. I know what guys are after. They're after the most beautiful woman or women. As a man clears up his mind, he will most likely, because the physics is, I'm saying most likely because there are examples of righteous men who I've studied, but they are so few. So I would say, I would bet, I'd bet a lot, that as a man clears up his mind more and more, clears up his life, as he clears up his mind, he clears up all his communications, he clears up all his relationships with people, he clears up all his connections with debt, money, his history, he gets clear. As the man gets clearer and clearer, he will honestly want multiple women. Now, some guys deny it, and I think they're just not clear. They're not clear enough. They have too many blocks between this and that decision, where they are and that decision. And that's fine. That's why I'm saying you don't have to do that. I could also be mistaken, whatever. Maybe it's just my... but you definitely want the most beautiful, elegant, loyal, intelligent, funny, whatever qualities you like. But beauty is going to be common for every man. All else being equal, get everything else you want in a woman. Do you want her to be beautiful or does it matter? And let's be honest. Honest. That guys can't be honest about that. They care about the opinions of women. They're white knights. Isolate them, work them out to near exhaustion. Say, I'm going to kill you if you don't give me an honest answer. They believe you. Do you want a more beautiful woman than you have? Do you want the most beautiful woman? Do you And then the truth of that is, here's the multiple women. One day that woman's going to age. She's no longer going to be the most beautiful. That doesn't mean you leave her. Bro, there's good women. There's good women that bolster your life. That means they amplify your life. They're a mouthpiece for you. They contribute. They know how to be around you. They can educate new women. I mean, that's out of reality for a lot of guys, but if you have a woman that's been with you a long time and you've worked it out where you're dating, you're a bachelor, even though she's with you, she can help train new women. Not just by taking my class, but just the way she is around you. Her beingness around you makes the other girl more or less secure. Not completely, but it definitely influences it. She can help. So if you really want beauty in your life as a man from now until kingdom come, then, multiple women is going to be there. Otherwise, it's one woman, then the next woman, then the next woman, then the next woman. And the next woman has to face, why did that other woman not match up? Why did that other woman not measure up? Why did that other woman leave you? Why did she leave you? Why am I getting her leftovers? Just like you're getting her leftovers, she's getting your leftovers. That woman left you. No, I broke up with her. Why'd you break up with her? She wasn't pretty enough. Okay. So why'd you get with her? Well, I was lustful, but I overcame it, this and that. Okay. So you just broke up with her? Could she have gotten prettier, or was she like deformed? What, you led a woman for years, and then you just broke up with her because she, what? Lead her. Make her more beautiful. You don't think she can become more beautiful? Well, she'll never be the kind of beauty that I'm going to get. Bro, if she's there, do you not know how to lead a woman? If she's 100% obedient to you, can you not give her instructions to live a fulfilling life that would fulfill you? What barriers and boundaries do you need? Half an hour a week? 2 hours a week? 10 hours a week? How long are you going to hang out with her? Never? Okay, well, are you still going to lead her? Because, just lead her in a way that she finds, she'll choose that over other options. That's righteous. And if you can't figure it out, well then, man, you kind of duped life. You duped life. And you're going to crash because your lack of leadership if you don't know how to lead. You know what I'm saying? So there's really no reason to ever get rid of a woman. If she's obedient and completely under you, give her the instructions to live life that she can live fulfilling and also fulfilling you. And if you can't work that out, well, like I said, it's a quantum universe, multidimensional. Is there some version of you in some universe somewhere, in the infinite possibilities of infinity, is there some option that there is a way to lead her that's fulfilling for you and her? In one out of infinity, billion, trillion, quadrillion, is there not one way of communicating or one piece of idea that you could tell her that would make her more fulfilled and you fulfilled? And just string a bunch of those together, 10, 20, 30 ideas that create a teaching or a way of being. Be like this when you're with me. Be soft, be feminine, be nurturing. Anything I ask you to do, like those ideas. Those are decisions that I made, and I pulled from a universe, and I gave it, and she agrees, so now we have an agreement. So the relationship doesn't exist, but subjectively, for her and for me, we internally have an agreement that now our behavior changes. We've made a new decision, and our behavior changes, and that starts to create from that. People start to know us as that. We start to make it, let's say, a business decision. She creates a yoga app for me. We have an agreement about the arrangement, this and that. We step into a universe where now I have a yoga app. My yoga video's there, marketing it, people finding it. Whoa. People will know me as Yogi Chris instead of Captain because they're finding me through yoga. I'm known in multiple ways on the same planet. Because I accept. Now, let's say I have some issue with my girl or a girl or something doing something. But I know it's bitch. I shouldn't be having an issue with that. I go into my beast process because my stoicism and my training has trained me. I've earned the ability to shift universes. So I have some subjective, internal, personal problem with something, but I know there's a part of me, I have some idea or philosophy that's like, that's bitch. You don't need to have a problem with that. Why are you having a problem with that? That's out of your control. And I access a version of me that doesn't have that problem, but is still cool, is still high value, is still good relationships. Change nothing else about my life. Just don't have a problem with that. One decision, one electron. And I am able to do that. That's called dimension jumping. That's called universe shifting. And when you, let's say I have a yoga app with the girl. Let's say if with another girl, I have some online marketplace for yoga mats and whatever. Totally different thing. Or let's say it's just a totally different business. One girl runs a yoga app and my whole yoga side of the business. Another girl runs makeup. She teaches girls how to do makeup and does makeup for girls. And she starts building that. Over time, I'm going to have different conversations with this girl than this girl. They just have to be different. And so we start to develop two different worlds and universes with each other. A bunch of agreements that don't exist with the other one. Individually, every woman's different, just like every man's different. How to sexually please her, how to intimately be with her, how to get along, what's taste in music and whatever. So there's a lot of agreements in a relationship that are very personal. It's just you two. It's not the others. It's a different world, a different universe. Guys that are married or monogamous or whatever for a long time, they lose that perspective. They cut off other women, and when they break up, they go with other women and they think other women are going to be similar to their old girl. Nah. As you have multiple relationships, you become very multidimensional. You have a whole world with this person, a whole world with... We're already doing it. If you have more than one friend, you have more than one dimensions you step into, probably. When you were all kids, everybody did everything together. So you all won. And then you start separating, going your own way. You're a tribal leader. You want to have a tribe. So lead in a way that leads to better survival. And part of better survival means survival of your genes. That means better relationships. If you don't have good relationships, you're not surviving well. I mean, with the opposite sex that are intimate, sexual, mating. That's part of survival. She doesn't represent survival. She completes your survival. Without her, the DNA doesn't survive. And the DNA is getting closer and closer to the quantum of what's coding this matrix. Okay. So, the beast process uses different modalities like writing, reading, exercise, different, what you're feeding yourself, your self-talk, different modalities to get a grip on your life here on this planet where you're a prisoner because you can't escape and you got to pay taxes. Okay? So who's made it to the top of the food chain and is running everything? We probably don't even see them. They're probably hidden because they'd be assassinated because it's shit. So the rulers who set the rules are hidden. We got to play by their rules, and there's a trillion obstacles if we try to go against it. Even if you could make a rocket ship to go to space, good luck getting the government clearance and everything to make it through. Got to pay your taxes. So you're a prisoner. Now what? Are you gonna bitch about it? No, you're not gonna bitch about it. If you're listening to this stream, you're probably not wanting to bitch about it. But then what do you do about it? Do you concede? Do you try to join them so you can beat them? Like the guys that go in the government try to beat it. They go in the military because they think they're gonna reform the military. Bro, it's over your pay grade forever. You got to carve your own lane. And how do you? Well, hopefully you find a mentor, because find someone that carved their own lane. That is inspiring, that you're inspired, that, motivation, drive, remember that. I want this. This is what I want. Now, I've worked it out for myself. I want great relationships with the most beautiful women running my life so that I run my purpose and I run the movement, whatever that is, whatever that becomes. I feel very young, even though I'm 37. I feel I have a lot of evolution to go, and my lane is still being carved. But, okay, I see an example of this. And I'm learning. Okay, so the teacher, the drive, and the teachings. Do the teachings work? So examples, multiple relationships, guys getting beautiful women, guys that were virgins, no longer virgins, but with integrity and righteousness, not just fucking a drunk chick. Guys that are able to get jobs anywhere, doing anything, because they know how to communicate and they have discipline that they can if they're going to be a janitor, they'll definitely get the job because they know how to talk. They'll show up on time because they can wake up on time. So, of course, they'll show up to work on time. And they'll probably move up. They'll come up with creative ideas to improve things. They will move up. An army of men worldwide who understand that emotions are the obstacle and the path. But they are not part of the purpose. The purpose is walking the path. They just get in the way. And you use them. You alchemize them. You change them. That wrong ideas are evil. Knowledge is evil. That you need a sense of right and wrong and ethics. And the tech here that makes this possible for men worldwide, even if it's on the internet, and then of course men in person. So many men were online. They decided to travel across the world. A lot of it is across the United States, but some are across the world also, to visit AZD, live here, train here, and then they go home. Enough people did that over time that we decided to actually all move in with him and change our whole life. Inform everybody, I'm doing this thing. You're going to follow that guy who's all tatted with the women? What? Enough guys did that. Then multiple more guys did that with each other in groups of houses in following the teachings because it was that effective. Then we all moved to Vegas and they all moved to Vegas. So now 32 of us live here in Vegas, high level. Man, so the people around the world are benefiting. Definitely the people that started on the internet but came and visited in person and then decided to change their life and then change their life and change their life are benefiting. That's the results. That's the testimony of the tech. I don't know what other movement you found where people move across and change their life, and you'll see it for like college or something, but that's not a teacher that's inspired them. That's a degree of fantasy, and I busted that fantasy. Bro, you're not going to be able to do anything with that. Nothing. You're just doing it, I know, because you're scared to get a job. You think you're going to be losing life if you just get a job doing not school. You're going to miss out on parties. That's it, bro. It's going to slap you in the face eventually. Fortunate I was that I was so trained by my parents, my dad really, that I got athletic enough that I could go that route, and I was exposed to high-level athletics, and that helped me when I got into yoga, that I was doing something else that I could practice yoga on my own time, get so good at it on my own time that I could start charging people for it. So I built a career for myself, but it all came back from athleticism, discipline, and being in the school system until I built something else for myself. Not knowing I was going to do that, but that's what ended up happening. I was just doing yoga for my own peace of heart and peace of mind, but it became valuable to people. So I'm about to end this, guys, in just a couple minutes. So when you join the daily class with AZD, you get access to the White Belt group. The White Belt group is on Telegram. Has a bunch of videos of me talking through the process. It has a document that has the exercise routine. There's probably a lot of stuff you got to go through. They're pinned, but I know I'm always promoting things. Like right now, I'm promoting things. That's what I do. I give you value, and then I say, here's how to get to this understandings yourself. So that you, the same way you're impressed by me, whatever that means, you will impress the world around you. People will listen to you with certainty that you'll have. That's how I built a yoga brand. I was a terrible communicator, bro. I was not afraid to speak in front of people because I'd coached wrestling, but wrestling is not, you don't need to be empathetic or understand where they're coming from. They just do it. You start teaching college and university classes and then teaching yoga and then you're charging them, man. And you got to sell them on it also. Sell them, teach them, make them satisfied after the fact so they give you testimony. Bro. But then if you just do that, you're learning how to communicate to please people. That is very separate from the how to communicate with women. It's a whole different subject. And so what we've done is we've become so integrated with IMC Nation under AZD that how we communicate with women is how we sell our business, is how we communicate with family. There's a common understanding. It's a spectrum when she's a woman that is more towards your mating versus a woman that's like completely not your mating. Your daughter or your niece or your mother or sister or something. It's just a calibration of the same understanding. A lot of people are split. We're not split. We're on a smooth spectrum. We understand how to communicate and we calibrate it to wherever we find ourselves on the spectrum, to whatever audience. We can make it more specific, hyper-specific for them, zoom in on them, seduce them, or make it super general so that we seduce the audience, the world. And that means changing your language as you calibrate in or out. It's a lot of inner sensitivity and awareness that's needed. That, here comes the pitch. If you're through with the white belt or you just want to take it to the next level, there's 2 products called Origins. That's an intro to it, but it also has a lot of advanced game. So guys, some people are really more interested in just give me the game. I understand I need the beast process, but the game I also want. Okay, Origins. Origins will give you the tech. It'll break down the coat of arms, tell you how to use the stoicism and the calisthenics or whatever. AZD lecturing. Then there'll be another 15 lectures that overlap with other camps. The Origins, or what is called the Phase 1 process or the Beast process. These are the same names that represent the same thing. They're overlapping Beast camps with other camps, like Animus or Chosen or Shadow Walkers or something. And so you get these overlapping lectures where he's teaching game from the advanced camp, but he's also teaching from the Beast perspective, which is a perspective. The Beast, the lion, the tiger, the animal, the most majestic and powerful creatures that you can think of, they're Stoics. Because they don't try to control things outside of their control. If it's in their control, they try to do it. If it's not, they let it go. And then they shake it off, and they don't carry emotions with them. Now, they're stupid. They're not trying to perfect their character. They don't have the concept. They don't even have the concept of their own mind. I only discovered my own mind when I was in my 20s. That's what I'm saying. You got to hear it multiple times. So, but they have Stoic qualities. The Beast is a Stoic. You become a righteous beast through the beast process. And you gain all this inner sensitivity and inner awareness. Sensitive sounds like you're weak. I don't mean weakness. I just mean you can detect small changes. Sensitive. That's what you need to master this game. It's the bedrock. It's the foundation. So with the Origins camp, it's $595, and it has 17 lectures, 2 Beast lectures, and then a bunch of overlapping lectures with other camps. So you get a bunch of game also from the Beast perspective. Or the Phase 1 composite product, the Phase 1 product. That has 45 lectures from 9 Beast camps that were just pure Beast camps, only Beast camps. Originally, he was just teaching Beast camps when we moved in with him. And so Master myself, a.k.a. Jordan Damari, who just moved to Vegas from Arizona, he put together 45 of these lectures. I have a book of notes that's like 45 pages of typed notes from watching the lectures, and it's very thorough. It's the complete thing. It's $1,500, $1,497. As a comparison, those camps when they happened would total $4,500. $4,500. So it's $4,500 of camps distilled down into $1,500 organized for you. What I mean by that is, so you get a subject. The camp itself kind of goes through a lot of subjects. Later, when Jordan Damari put them all together, he groups them so that you get that subject like the calisthenics or the alchemy. The alchemy is changing the darkness of your mind, where you're turning negative or you're sad or angry even. How do you transform that into brightness? It's a process. And that's what I recommend for everybody. Okay, everybody. I'm going to end it. Thank you for tuning in. What this talk was about is multidimensional accessing different decisions and character qualities by being able to identify your mind and your beliefs about these things. And how do you do that? These are just words. That's the beast process. That's what it. What I can talk about it, and you'll conceptually get it. The more you listen, the more you'll get it. How to do the multiple relationships is very multidimensional. You're going to have to be able to reshape your character. You don't lose yourself. Just like I said, if I had your mind, but I was still me. If that makes sense to you, if you could be in my body and have my mind, my life history, but still be you. If that makes sense to you, understand that you can change yourself. By changing yourself, the real you is not changing. You're just changing the mind and your habits and your body and your actions. And that changes your results. And what are you going to change into? What we have is AZD as a reference of a player, an alpha male, a hustler, a charismatic, a seducer, a righteous man. Very ethical. His relationships are long-term with the highest value women. I can tell you, and it's too much for right now, it's because of his ethics. His lack of secrecy. But you'll mistake seduction for secrecy. There's a difference between seduction and holding secrets. time for another talk. You know what I mean? Okay, so if you guys are interested in phase 1 or origins, let me know. I'm going to go now. Thank you. Praise the Lord. Os, J. Guru Dev. Be the best. Fuck the rest.